An elderly man stands before the swirling, glowing threshold of a time machine, preparing to enter it. The surrounding scientists expect terror or hesitation, but he exhibits neither. He isn't afraid of the future, because he already possesses the precise memory of this exact event happening to him. This certainty began decades earlier, when 6-year-old Ethan first demonstrated the ability to recall the exact minutiae of any given day. If you ask him about a random Tuesday, he could describe the blue shirt he wore, the cartoon playing at exactly 4:17 p.m., and the precise number of steps he took from the kitchen to his bedroom. At first, his parents and teachers treated this as a gift. They categorized his anomaly as extreme genius or an innate superpower, assuming his mind simply had a higher capacity for storage than the average student. These early displays of total recall were the first indicators of a neurological burden, one that would eventually become an inescapable psychological cage. The true cost of this condition revealed itself when Ethan witnessed a severe car accident as a child. He didn't just see it, he absorbed the sensory data permanently: the screech of tires, the specific shade of the rainy pavement, and the exact pitch of the screams. Most human minds heal because memory degrades. The brain evolutionarily favors the fading of emotional pain and embarrassment over time, allowing the psychological edges of trauma to soften. Ethan's brain lacks this softening mechanism. For him, a decades-old insult or a traumatic loss never loses its edge. Every failure and every grief replays with the exact same emotional intensity as the moment it first occurred. By adulthood, his mind was forced to navigate billions of these perfectly preserved, high-intensity moments. He was carrying a cognitive weight that the human neurological system was never designed to endure. Eventually, scientists diagnosed Ethan with a rare case of hyperthymesia. To study the limits of his recall, they proposed a project to bridge his unique neural pathways directly to an experimental computational framework. The interface used quantum computing to scan his subjective experiences, extracting his internal memories to translate them into a structured digital dataset. This created the Memory Archive, a system allowing researchers to search, filter, and replay any second of Ethan's life, like a library catalog. This turned a single man's internal life into a searchable record of decades of human experience, providing a raw, unfiltered look at historical events through the eyes of a witness who could never forget a detail. As the quantum computer began indexing the billions of data points within the archive, it started identifying macro patterns that Ethan himself had never consciously processed. This scatter plot shows the anomaly. The computer flagged a recurring biometric signature, the same unidentified man appearing in the background of Ethan's memories, across 30 years and multiple continents. This data point gave new meaning to a childhood interaction Ethan had filed away. At age 6, a stranger in a park had looked at him and said, "One day you'll remember me." The persistence of this figure suggested that Ethan's memory wasn't just recording the random events of his life, but was acting as a map for a physical presence that should not exist. Intelligence agencies attempted to cross-reference the stranger's face with every known citizen database on the planet. Despite thousands of high-resolution images extracted from the archive, the man did not exist in any record. The computer eventually composited every background glimpse into one clear reconstruction. The facial geometry and bone structure of the stranger perfectly matches Ethan. The match is not for the Ethan of today, but for an Ethan decades in the future. The recurring presence across his timeline indicates that Ethan will eventually find a way to travel backward, physically following his own life as he ages. This reveals the archive's true nature. It is a deterministic loop. Ethan's perfect memory wasn't a biological fluke, but a necessary anchor that ensured his future self would know exactly where and when to appear to keep the timeline intact. We return to the elderly man from the opening of the story. Standing at the threshold of the time machine, he is finally stepping into the role he has spent his entire life remembering. He enters the machine not to explore the unknown, but to fulfill a chronological debt. He is destined to become the stranger in the park, ensuring his younger self begins the loop leading back to this threshold. Forgetting is a vital evolutionary defense. It allows for the passage of time to separate us from our former selves, granting a freedom that Ethan will never know. If we possessed the capacity to recall every moment forever, we might find that we aren't just remembering our lives, we are trapped within them. Some memories are safer when they are allowed to fade.